Hello, today I am bringing you a review of The Book Collector by Alice Thompson. This is the first story in my Paddling in Independent Publishers series and it's published by Salt. I will link their page down below. This is a fantastic book. I know a lot of people have been reading this on BookTube, so I'll keep this quite short because I'm sure a lot of people have heard of this by now. Basically, this is about female insanity, basically. So we follow a character called Violet. We meet her at the beginning in a coffee shop and she meets a man called Archie. She then goes on to marry him, but she's always feeling as though she's in the shadow of his ex-wife. There's also a bit of a mystery in here where Archie is a book collector and he has a book of fairy tales that he keeps in a safe and it's dedicated to his ex-wife. And Violet always feels a little as though she's in his ex-wife's shadow. His ex-wife died and basically Violet and Archie have a child together called Felix, and from that birth Violet then starts to experience hallucinations and delusions and basically goes into a postnatal depression or a psychosis of sorts. She then gets taken to a local institution and it goes from there. I don't want to say too much about it because there is a lot of mystery entwined in this. Alongside Violet's story, there is a story of women that are going missing from the asylum, and that plays very much a part in the story as a whole towards the end. I would say for the first 10 pages I wasn't sure about this. The style, it's quite stylistically written and I think that's probably in an attempt to sort of mimic the fairy tales that we talk about. No, I wouldn't say that fairy tales are a prominent part in the plot in this. They're definitely just on the sidelines. So I think a lot of people who went into this thinking it was going to be very fairy tale heavy were a bit disappointed, but it's definitely in there, but it's not a main feature at all. And there is comparisons drawn between the characters and what's happening in fairy tales, and obviously there's the book of fairy tales, but other than that there's not many fairy tales in here. As I say, for the first 10 pages I wasn't sure. The style was kind of grating me. It's very simplistic and straightforward. I also felt as though, because we meet Violet when she's first meeting Archie, and I can understand why that part has to be in there, but literally within 10 pages they meet, she goes after him, they get married, and it is very much glossed over. And I can understand that beginnings are hard, and even though that information needed to be in there, we didn't want to have this massive build up to their relationship because that's not necessary. I'm not sure how better that could have been done, but it kind of was a bit rushed for my tastes. But as I say, as I was going through, I really got used to the style and began to really enjoy the style. It is simple and it is only 150 pages, so there's not loads of elaborate language in here, but it does the job and it does it very effectively. So this basically looks at the way that men treated female illness and psychosis and things like that. It's written in the Edwardian time, so obviously mental health was treated very differently then, and I think especially for women, I think that men very much took advantage of their wives' mental declines. So yes, Violet is unwell, but it's an illness that is brought about by the birth of her son, and it's something that could be easily fixed, but I feel as though in the asylum they kind of make it worse instead of making it better, and I think Archie, her husband, very much takes advantage of this. While she's in the asylum, he gets a nanny in called Clara, who I won't say too much about her because she's very much entwined in the mystery, but she's a very negative influence in the household. She almost takes Violet's place a little bit, and obviously Violet wants to look after her son herself, but a nanny has been brought in to do it for her. So it very much looks at sort of feminist issues and the way women were treated in society, in the same way that The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilmore looks at the way that men misunderstood women's mental illness. I think if you enjoyed that, you would very much enjoy this. I would say the sideline of the women going missing from the asylum, I think it could have been done a little bit better, purely because it only happens 3 times that we break from Violet's point of view and go to the women that are going missing. Obviously to show us what is actually happening so that we know more than Violet does, but I think we could have probably done without those pieces because I think we would have got an adequate understanding of what was happening without them. But also the way that they were inserted, they were little extracts put in italics, but they appeared within the other chapters, so they kind of almost felt to me a little bit as though they had just been inserted in. I think either we could have gone without them, or we could have had more of them just to make it more of a ongoing theme, or we could have just had them in separate chapters so that they weren't just inserted into the action like they were, because they kind of were a bit out of place. But as I say, as a whole, I really enjoyed this book. I think it looked at some fascinating themes. It was a really quick read. Like, I literally read it in 2 sittings, and they were not long sittings. So I would definitely say it's well worth picking up. As I say, fans of the yellow wallpaper will definitely enjoy this. And there are kind of hints of Rebecca in there as well. I definitely saw some similarities, especially with the ex-wife being so present in the current marriage. So yes, I would definitely recommend this one, and I'm excited to get to my other sort books as well. So I'll see you next time. Bye!